Hello and welcome. Today we're going to dive into something that, let's be honest, we all grapple with: the power of our own desires. We're going to explore that inner tug of war we all feel, and more importantly, how we can find a truly powerful, balanced way to move forward. So, does this sound familiar? You set these really strict rules for yourself, you're white-knuckling it through temptation, only to eventually just give in completely. And then, of course, that cycle of guilt and control just starts all over again. If that rings a bell, you are definitely in the right place because that exact struggle is what we are breaking down today. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we're going to understand the raw power of wanting itself. Then, we'll look at the two big traps our ego loves to set for us and the damage that happens when we swing between them. And finally, we'll explore the path to finding that balance and, really, the ultimate practice for transforming our desires. Okay, first up, the power of wanting. See, before we can even talk about fixing our relationship with desire, we have to get what it actually is. And here's a spoiler: it's not the enemy we've so often been told it is. It's something way, way more essential. The core idea here is something called Ichcha Shakti. So let's break that down. Ichcha is a Sanskrit word that basically covers the whole spectrum of wanting, from a simple craving to a deep longing to demanding something. And Shakti, well, that means power or energy. So Ichcha Shakti is literally the power of your own volition. It's your free will. It's that raw, internal, undeniable feeling of, I want. And this is where the whole concept just flips everything on its head. Desire isn't some kind of character flaw. It's the engine of your life. Without that feeling of I want, you literally couldn't do anything. You couldn't get out of bed in the morning, you couldn't eat, you couldn't chase a goal. It is the fuel for all action. In fact, this power runs so deep that even our most basic primitive instinct, that sheer will to live, known as jigivisha, is a form of Ichcha Shakti. Just the desire to take your next breath, that's Ichcha. So this force isn't something to be stamped out or eliminated. It's a sacred blessing. It's the very thing that animates life itself. Okay, so if this energy is so fundamental and so good, where does it all go wrong? Well, this is where the ahankar, or what we call the ego, steps onto the stage and basically hijacks this pure, powerful energy for its own purposes. The ego basically creates two no-win situations for us. On one side, you've got suppression. This is when we try to just kill a desire, to deny it exists. But you can't destroy energy, right? So it just rebounds, and it often comes back stronger, maybe even a little twisted, causing all sorts of internal conflict. You might even find yourself obsessing about it in your dreams. Then, on the other side, you have indulgence. This is where the ego tries to just expand the feeling of wanting forever. But what happens is this actually burns out and destroys the beautiful energy within the desire, leaving you feeling empty, full of regret, and often even disliking the very thing you just craved. So, being caught between these two traps isn't just frustrating, it is deeply, deeply damaging. And this brings us to the real crisis point of our inner world, what's called the oscillation effect. The oscillation effect is exactly that cycle we talked about at the very beginning. It's that constant, exhausting pendulum swing from rigid, tight self-control to complete overindulgence, and then right back again. It's a state of profound imbalance. And the consequences? Well, they're severe. This constant swinging back and forth seriously damages your core life force, your Ichcha Shakti. It destabilizes your whole energetic system, it weakens your spiritual potential, and it's seen as one of the main ways we get tangled up in Maya, or illusion. And what's really fascinating is that modern psychology totally recognizes this pattern. It's the classic relapse cycle you see in addiction. And get this isn't just a small, personal quirk. The source material actually describes this struggle as one of the central problems facing our entire civilization. I mean, think about it. Our economies are often built on stoking indulgence, while our wellness culture can push for extreme suppression. This oscillation fuels so much: addiction, burnout, consumerism. So if you feel this, you are not alone. You are feeling a core tension of modern life itself. So that's the problem. It's big, it's universal, and it's damaging. But, and this is a big but, there is a solution. So let's turn now to the path to healing, finding the middle way. The way out isn't to just get better at suppressing things or to find a healthier indulgence. The real solution is to discover a third option, a center point.
This is a state of inner balance, a point of true equanimity where the pull of those two extremes, it just dissolves. They lose their power over you.
And the reward for finding this middle way is, well, it's profound. When you find that center point, what emerges is ananda, a state of genuine, unshakable bliss. And it's not the fleeting high of indulgence or the tense pride of suppression. It is a completely different and much more beautiful state of being. So the big question is, how do we find this center point? How do we actually do this? Well, that brings us to our final and most practical section, how to transform the very nature of desire into something divine. And this is absolutely crucial to understand. The goal was never to become some desireless robot. The whole point of having this powerful engine of Ike Shakti is to learn how to transmute it. We're here to learn how to transform our wanting into a connection with a higher reality. The key practice for this incredible transformation is called Ishwar Pranidhan. And what that means is the complete 100% offering of your entire being, your thoughts, your body, your actions, and yes, all of your desires, offering it all up to the divine, to what the texts call Paramatma, or the Supreme Self. It's an act of radical, beautiful surrender. Okay, let's make this super practical. Imagine you really, really want a slice of pizza. Instead of suppressing it or just mindlessly eating the whole box, you practice an offering. First, you actually treat the pizza as a sacred object, like a puja. Second, before you eat, you stabilize your mind, maybe with a mantra, to calm down that frantic, running, I want it now energy. Third, as you eat, you consciously connect the wave of enjoyment to the divine, not to your ego's endless need for more. And fourth, this is where the magic happens, you find you eat exactly the amount your body needs. You achieve true satisfaction, not the destructive boom and bust cycle. And you can apply this to anything, right? The desire for a new phone, the urge to check social media, you name it. So why does this work? It's actually pretty simple. When you offer that raw, I want energy to something higher than your little ego, the ego loses its power to hijack it. It can no longer pull you into suppression on one side or indulgence on the other. The energy itself is purified. It's healed. It's restored to its divine purpose. There's a perfect metaphor for this whole thing, and it's about captaining a ship. Suppression is like clinging to the anchor. You're safe, but you're going absolutely nowhere. Indulgence is like letting your sails run wild in a storm, which is just going to lead you to crash on the rocks. The skillful way, the right way, is to use the sails, your desires, to move forward while keeping your navigation fixed on a constant point, the North Star, which in this case represents the divine. So if you remember just one thing from all this, let it be this. Your desires are not the problem. They are the fuel. Your conscious awareness is the compass that directs that fuel. And your connection to something greater than yourself, that is the ultimate destination. And that leaves us with one final thought to really ponder. We tend to see our desires as problems to manage, right? Or obstacles to overcome. But what if that's completely wrong? What if every single time you feel that powerful surge of I want, it isn't a distraction from your path, but an invitation to walk it? What if every single desire is actually a doorway,